Hi there. My name is Flannery. I'm the teen librarian at the Eola Road branch, and this is Peepums. She's being very shy right now. She's my snake. She is a ball python. Uh, Many of you may have heard me talk about her before, especially if you're in my teen advisory board. So I thought this would be a nice chance to show her off. She is about 3 years old, and I got her as a birthday present from a good friend of mine who bought her from a breeder. Which brings me to the fact that I wanted to talk a little bit about snakes in general and how to take care of them and the best places to get them if you want to have a pet snake. Um, I especially don't recommend purchasing a snake from a pet store like Petco because a lot of the conditions that they have them in are not the best. For one thing, snakes, well, ball pythons in particular, prefer darkness, which is probably why she's being a little squirrely right now because it's bright in here. But if you'll notice at the pet stores, they usually have them in glass tanks and they have a lot of bright lights and usually only one small place for them to hide. And they like to have a lot of darkness and quiet and lots of different places to conceal themselves. So they're usually not taken very good care of, although I certainly don't want to speak for any of the employees at Petco. I know that they do their best with what they're given, but it's usually best if you can buy them from a reputable breeder, which is where my friend got Peepums. She is so cute, and she wouldn't hurt a fly, honestly. As a matter of fact, like most ball python owners, I feed her frozen rats instead of live rats because ball pythons are very docile, and adult rats, especially, can defend themselves with their teeth and their little claws, and they can actually do a lot of damage to a ball python. So I usually buy frozen rats and then I heat them up with a hair dryer, as a matter of fact, is the best method that I have found. And then I just take some little tongs and I kind of dangle them in front of her, and she strikes and she eats them all up. I have an enclosure for her that is basically just a big plastic tub that I soldered a bunch of air holes into. Some people prefer to keep them in glass tanks, but some people prefer plastic tubs. And this was what I found worked for me, and it was the easiest to clean. So the most important thing for ball pythons is to make sure that they have a consistent uh, temperature and consistent humidity. So they usually prefer a temperature of around 85 degrees, so pretty toasty. And they usually like to have a humidity level of like 65 to 75% humidity. They are used to jungle climates, so they like a warm, wet environment. And I have a level of aspen substrate that I put in her enclosure. And then I have different water sources for her in little containers. It can really be anything. And then I just have some like fake plants for her to hide under, and then little different enclosures that she can curl herself into and hide in. When she was very small, I used to even put little toilet paper tubes in her enclosure, and she would snuggle up in those, but now she's way too big for that. So I've had to upsize her hides from time to time. She is getting quite adventurous, so just to make sure that she doesn't get too stressed out, I think I'm gonna end it here. If you have any questions about snakes, you can leave them in the comments. And in particular, I would love to hear stories about other people's pets, whether they're unusual pets or whether they are normal pets like cats and dogs. I also have cats, and clearly they are not in the room for this video. I do not let the snake and the cats be in the same room. Just because you never know what can happen. So please leave me some stories about your pets. Pictures would also be very much appreciated. And just tell me, what are your pets' names and what are they like, and funny stories about them, because I love anything having to do with other people's pets. So hang in there, everybody. Say goodbye, peep bums. Bye, everybody.